got pranked.
Have you ever noticed that there seems to be a absence of right-wing people in positions of power, such as Reddit moderators or game development? Like, if you've seen those community managers, you know what I'm talking about. I wanted to talk about this phenomenon. Game devs, on average, get paid less than if they were in a similar field, such as software engineering in general. These game devs often have a passion for gaming in general because they grew up around it. They enjoy the process of playing games, so why not try and make games? These people are everywhere. There's thousands, like so many of them that you could kill them and replace them with another person. That's just how much there is. There's a difference between 20 and 40% in average salary income. That's saying for $95,000, someone would be making $80,000 in the game industry. And these jobs all happen to be localized in California, at least for those big major companies anyways. And that is a lot larger of a difference for someplace like California. Granted, it's probably more fair to compare the high ends of $116,000 a year versus $132,000 a year. Still, these people are passionate for their work and they're willing to do it for less. This phenomenon also existed in the anime industry. One that I can think of is the translators that keep fucking up localization, using words that only exist now and are going to stop being used in the next 5 years. Words like sus or 6-7, all the dumb memes that exist now, they will put in current day memes that are going to die. And the main issue with that is you can get away with using normal words and not angering people who don't want to hear or think about the real world. Honestly, these industries exist for escapism. People don't want to think about real world, modern day, anything. They want to escape. And these industries take advantage of these people by giving them lower paying jobs because they want the jobs. And I suppose, whereas people on the right are a lot more interested in making money, they want to retire someday, or they want to have a family, which traditionally lefties don't want families, they just want to moderate Reddit, go to Disney World, I guess. The Quirk Chungus meme, these people want to spend their money on themselves, or they don't really have a future in mind other than mindless consumerism. You can't really talk to these people who, in a way, I want to use the word sheep, but I think that implies that they can be manipulated. I guess they're more like cattle that they just graze and eat, whereas sheep are more portrayed as herd, like you can herd them or corral them. And although that is true that you can corral these people, the point is they don't care about what's going on outside of the grass in front of them. And it's sort of a cyclical issue that these people who spend all their day doing what they are quote-unquote passionate about happen to be able to manipulate the consensus or the place of discussion. Things that I have in mind would be a Reddit moderator. They spend all their time moderating because they just endlessly doom scroll Reddit constantly. They are allowed to shape the global consensus on these subs, and this is just a global problem across all social media. Yes, 4chan has this issue too. If I told you I moderated or was a Janny, you should rightfully look at me like I'm insane, because spending all your time in a single form of the internet for weeks on end is genuinely unhealthy, which this passion for game development drives me into, I think it's kind of funny that these new companies come up out of the ground and they say former developers of Activision, or former developers from Respawn Entertainment. Yeah, we were the guys that worked on Titanfall. Or, oh, we're the same guys who worked on Left 4 Dead 2. So you should buy our new game, which is nothing like Left 4 Dead 2. The idea that you can slap your previous company's name on something or your previous works on something is kind of obnoxious. I suppose this is a marketing tactic as old as time, and it used to mean something. I can think of a few small examples where the product was good, that it was fine for them to have former developers of. I suppose I'm only really mad about it when the product turns out to be shit. But when you can see it's shit in the trailer, it's just gonna piss everyone off. But some examples of games that had ex-developer, the GTFO 10 Chambers Productions? Is it 10 Chambers? Yes. 10 Chambers. They used to be some of the devs from Payday 2 worked on this, and I guess a original founding member, I believe, of, I guess his nickname online is Wolf. Admittedly, I don't know the full lore of Wolf, but they went off to make it their own co-op hardcore FPS, and it was genuinely pretty good. Bit of a niche audience for it, but strong. It was a strong first title from the company. Another one that I could think of that I don't think was ever advertised as a former developer. The one for the game Starbound. Now, admittedly, this one is kind of going back into the past. I don't really know how long ago it was that this game was relevant, but as far as I'm aware, it was pretty successful for what it was. It used to be a dev from the Terraria, Relogic, that worked on Terraria, although Google's telling me it was a sprite artist, so maybe it's not as significant of... Oh, actually, that brings another point, is who was the former dev, or what did they do at the previous company? And also, another thing is, why did they leave? Did they leave with a purple heart, or did they get axed for, gay character designs, like doing some Concord shit? Why didn't they put... That's another thing that the Highguard devs didn't put on their Steam page. They put former Respawn developers, but they didn't put former Concord developers. That would have been nice to know. How come none of these people want to start advertising piece of shit games they worked on? The things that flopped so heavily that they wanted to remove their entire legacy from. I suppose then they go, from the same company that built you the Hindenburg comes the Twin Towers. From the creators of Atom Bomb, we bring you the Fat Man, the Tsar Bomba, and the Little Boy. Is there any other industry where they did that type of shit? Oh, from the people who brought you Cock and Ball Torture, we bring you... Honestly, we live in a timeline where you're either saying former developers from X company, or you're releasing a new title at the same company that was critically known that no one asked for, or doing something that is going to immediately lose anyone's interest in for the trailers. Case in point, did anyone buy Vampire the Masquerade 2? We've all seen the waifus from the first Masquerade. That chef's kiss. Like, that shit is beautiful. Does anyone remember, or is anyone aware of the waifus from the sequel? Please tell me. I'd like to know. Maybe there's some good content there. But the fact I haven't seen any is alarming. Turtle Rock used Left 4 Dead twice. They used it for Evolve back in 2015. Did Evolve do very well? I've heard about it quite a bit, actually. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of rough, isn't it? It's got the high guard curve. Actually, no, it had some staying power. It had a decent population for a few days, like a week, like a month, actually. The fact they tried to use their name as from the creators of Left 4 Dead twice, and it bombed at 2 different times is that's hilarious to me. When are they gonna learn? When are they gonna learn their consequences? Honestly, hearing people advertise games or products anymore just genuinely makes me angry. And most of it is because I understand the method, such as when they buy for a when companies pay for an all expense paid trip to come and play the game and write a review, and they all start doing their same bullshit or their same messages posted, return to form this. All I'm saying is we might need some Luigi Mangione to go to town on some game journalists. That'd be awesome, I think. I suppose the Dispatch game did pretty well for using that type of marketing. Or did the Dispatch devs use that marketing tactic? I don't remember if they did. But to my understanding, that game did pretty well. That leads me to another thing I wanted to talk about was Netflix's model of drop shipping shows. It's genuinely destroyed television as a format. Back in my day, you had your Walking Dead. You'd be so excited for Sunday night. Could you imagine the last time you were excited for a Sunday night? Nowadays, you're just like, I don't want to have to go to work tomorrow. Holy shit. But back in the day, you used to be excited for Sundays because there's a show that is dramatic, suspenseful. It had you guessing, or at least intrigued to see where the story is going to go next. And the next day, you would show up at work or school the next day and you'd have something to talk about. And The Walking Dead back in the time was a national phenomenon. Like, everyone was watching this show. Grandma, grandpa, everybody. Men and women. So you had something to talk to with everybody. You don't have that anymore because everyone's watching stuff streamed on Netflix. And my main issue is everything is dropped in a large batch. You don't have any discussion to have. You don't have any questions for the next episode, what's going to happen next. Because you already binged through the show and you've got 99% of your questions answered. And if there's more, it's just sequel bait, and there's not really much to talk about outside of maybe the one day after you finish the show. But you can't even be sure whoever you're talking to is at the same section or has binged the show, which is super annoying. You can't expect everyone to dedicate 6 hours of their life to watching a show the moment it drops. But you can expect 30 minutes to an hour. Or maybe a movie comes out, I guess. So where am I going with this? I wanted to bring attention to the fact how successful episodic video games have been in the last 15 years. Case number 1, Dispatch. This game, released 2 episodes, which is I'm guessing 2 hours of gameplay every week for, I think, 7 weeks? 6 weeks? And people kept talking about the game. Each week they had something new to talk about, and the nature, the drama, you had something you knew for sure that, hey, someone's either into the game as much as you are and is caught up, or maybe they only watched or got through one of the episodes for the week. So you still had something to talk about then. And lo and behold, that was able to hold an audience. I remember browsing V and seeing threads on that game constantly for weeks. It kept it in the popular culture. And that's how you make something great, is you keep people talking about it. Again, another example was the Telltale Walking Dead game originally. The first 2 seasons had that aspect to it. We're not talking about season 3 on, or the quality, or maybe Telltale kind of oversaturated their own market by the time season 3 got around. So people stopped caring. Which goes to show that you can't just always keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting shit to change. Or not change, I suppose. Fuck you, Voss. Anyways, The Walking Dead first 2 seasons were extremely exciting because that was one of their major themes from the show, was keep people interested in what's going to happen next and keep people guessing on who's going to die and who's going to survive till the end. Now, this doesn't have to strictly apply to your movie games. Even, I think a significant reason why early access titles are so successful is when they follow this same format. You give people a large chunk of content in a batch, people play through it, they wait another couple months later, and then they come back for another large batch. Usually, when I'm in those games, into those early access titles, if I enjoy the game enough, I'm willing to just start over from the beginning because I enjoy the game that much. It's replayable, like Wrath. Terraria back in the day was releasing significant updates yearly and would have the same aspect of wanting to start over from the beginning because the game was so fun and enjoyable. Honestly, this episodic format is the prequel to a game as a service. Nowadays, these games come out with you get a major content update like every 4 months or every 2 months. It kind of varies on the game and the studio behind it, but usually it's necessary to keep the game talked about. Get people coming back for something new to experience. Payday 2 back in the day. I mean, I think it's still getting updates. I kind of fell out of that audience, but they kept adding new content frequently, which kept people coming back. Oh yeah, the reason I wanted to talk about the Netflix issue, I am so goddamn upset they are going to be the ones airing JoJo Part 7. Back in my day, everyone was excited for JoJo Fridays. You would talk about the show. The meme culture was huge. Everyone knew about JoJo memes. That's how goddamn popular it was. Even if you weren't in the anime community, you would know about the roundabout to be continued meme. And that is a huge factor in why JoJo is so successful. Granted, it was always pretty successful, at least in Japan, but it became world class with the anime, in my opinion. And the fact that they have ruined the God-given right of JoJo Fridays is going to make Part 7 one of the most critically acclaimed parts of the story. It's not going to be very exciting. You're not even going to know it drops. And this is coming out like next month, I think. Or I imagine the first 12 episodes is coming out. And it's gonna ruin everything. Even though, like, the story's been out for decades. I suppose it's very similar for The Walking Dead. The comic was out for a long time. So it's just, I want to talk about Joe, goddammit. Please. I want to see the memes, please. One last thing. Deltarune also is following this episodic format. Granted, there's way larger time gaps between episodes, but that does still keep people talking about the series or speculating and theorizing what's going to happen next. Though, me personally, I kind of just dip in and out whenever, something happens. I don't keep up with what's happening in between if it's not a real release, but I do have some interest in threads that come up from time to time. That's all I got. Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.